If you want to retrieve a subset of elements from a string, a list, or a tuple in Python, you can use a slice. They're super convenient. Well, if you want to retrieve a subset of elements from a Pandas series or a Pandas data frame, you can use slices also. But you need to be careful about off by one errors some of the time because they work in slightly different ways. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly where you need to watch out and how this all works. Let's start off though by saying text equals A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. So we've got 10 elements there. If I say text of 0, I'm going to get the first element. Text of 4, I'll get the element at index 4, which is really the 5th element. Text of 7, I'm going to get the element at index 7, which is the 8th element. And then I can say text of 4 until 7. And this means from index 4 up to and not including index 7. And sure enough, we get E, F, G. Even though index 7 is H, we saw that. But it's going to be from 4 up to and not including 7. And that's the way it always works in a slice. The same is true if I have a list. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Right? Same thing. If I say my list of 4 and my list of 7, that's going to be from 50 to 80. And then I can say my list from 4 until 7. Exactly the same behavior. It's up to and not including. This, by the way, can make it a little tricky if you want to get from index 7 through the end, right? So I can say my list from 7 until, well, what, 9? No, because that's going to give me up to and not including. So I could say my list from 7 till 10, and there is no index 10, but it'll still work. Or I can say my list, this is more standard, my list from 7 colon until the end, and then just goes through the end. And then we don't have to worry about an ending index there. Okay, that's fine, but what about if I'm working in pandas? So if I say import pandas as PD, and now I'm going to say s equals pd.series, and we'll say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Okay, that's pretty great. And I have now a series. Can I use a slice on these? And the answer is yes. I always tell people it's way better to use .loc or .iloc when you are retrieving. Why? Because square brackets on a series do work, but they aren't quite as powerful. And once you start using a data frame, you'll get confused because square brackets by themselves on a series refer to the elements, but square brackets on a data frame refer to the columns. And so I always think it's better, always use .loc when you're using a series, and you just won't get confused when you get to a data frame. So if I say s.loc from 4 until 7, how's this going to work? It's going to work great. I'm going to get 4, 5, 6, 7. It's up to and including. That's kind of weird, right? And yes, this is a, shall we say, gross violation of our expectations in Python, because everywhere else in Python, it's up to and not including. We're going to get back to in a moment why this is the case. But we do have another way to retrieve from a series. We can say s.iloc. And iloc refers to the positions of the elements, the original numeric indexes. And you might be saying, well, how is that different? Well, first of all, it's different because this actually behaves exactly the way that we expect. It's up to and not including. So what the heck is going on with .loc? Well, remember that in a series, in pandas, we can give our own index. I don't need to use the index that was provided by default with 0 through whatever. I can say index equals list of A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J. Right? And now that I've done this, my series looks like this. And now if I want to use .loc, if I say s.loc, it's no longer going to be from 4 until 7 or something like that. Instead, it's going to be something like from E until, let's call it here, G. And think about it. Think about it. When we are using letters, strings, integers that are not 0 through whatever, do we really want to be up to and including or up to and not including? The problem with up to and not including is, what does it mean to be up to and not including if you have values that aren't like continuously increasing there and in a series of some sort? What if I do this? What if I say here, right? What if I reverse it? Here, I'm just going to say here, or I'll just even say something like this. I'll say, J-I-H, well, that'd be G-F. Right, so now they're not in order, not in our order at all. And if I say s.loc from C until I, right, it's going to be from C up to and including I, because if it went to up to and not including I, would it go up to G? Would it go up to H? Like what is it supposed to do it until? We're basically forcing way more logic upon it than we really should have to do. So Dot lock is always going to be up to and including, but dot iloc is always going to be up to and not including. S dot iloc, if I say once again 4 until 7, it's going to be 4, 5, and 6, not including 7. This is true for data frames as well. And I'll get to that in just a moment. But before I do that, I actually want to show you one other like weird thing here. What if I do something like this? What if I say here A, B, C, D, E and A, B, C, D, E? Right? So now I have an index that has repeated values. A appears twice, B appears twice, C appears twice. So if I say s.lock from A until C, what is it going to give me? And this is a really hard sort of thing to answer, right? Is it go from this A to this C? Is it go from this A to this C? Is it go from this A to this C? And the answer is it's going to give me an error. It's going to say, wait, I don't know what to do here. It's ambiguous, right? There's no obvious answer here. And the error message it gives you at the bottom is cannot get left slice bound for non-unique label A, right? So because A appears twice, it does not know what to do. Now there is a solution to this in some ways. I can say s.sort index. And once I do that, I get back a new series in which the values and the indexes are the same, but they're rearranged according to the index. And now we have that. And now if I say .lock from A until C, now it's going to be okay because it is in sorted order. So we'll get from the first A until the last C, and that's actually pretty okay. What if we want to do a data frame? So I can say here df equals pd, read CSV, and I'll say taxi.csv, one of my favorites. Right? And so now if I look at df, right, I've got this here. And basically, if I now say, now look at this, the index is the default. It's using just those numbers that we got. So if I now say, df.lock from 100 to 105, it's going to give me from 100 up to and including 105. But if I say .iloc, it's going to be up to and not including 105 because that's the standard behavior. And once again, this is because if I want to now say something like df equals df set index of tpep pickup date time, and yes, it's a string, not numbers or anything. And now if we look at df.head, so what's going to happen now if I say df.lock from, let's call it, this thing until, I don't know, oops, let's do this thing here. Let's do 40. There's got to be one like there. Oh, it doesn't find that actually. So let's just do 33. Nah, here we go. Cannot get a left slice bound for non-unique label. It's exactly the same problem as we had before. So I can say sort index on this thing, and then it's just fine. Then it'll give us from 32 up to and including 33. So what's our conclusion here? First of all, slices are great. Second of all, I can use slices exactly as I do with strings and lists and tuples on my series and data frames. But I can do it with either .lock or with .iloc. If I do it with .lock, then it's up to and including. If I do it with .iloc, that's up to and not including. .iloc always works on the position, that sort of default set of integers for our index, whereas .lock works on whatever we have given it for our index. And if the items repeat themselves, then we better make sure that they are sorted before we start using slices, because otherwise they'll just get confused and give us an error. All right, I hope this was useful and interesting. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear your questions and what more you want to learn. And I'll be back soon with lots more videos on Python and Pandas and everything in between. See you soon.